Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is episode 47 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration. And in today's episode we will be building a lander that will be able to go to our interplanetary, not interplanetary but orbital space station and perform the Creature Comforts experiment. If you recall, that was an experiment that was originally designed to be carried out by our SSTO, Big, the one that ended up infamously crashing on the runway, taking the lives of our two Kerbals with it. So, rather than trying enforcing SSTO, I'm thinking to use a conventional lander because the kibble, the resource that is needed by the Creature Comforts experiment and Zoology Bay, is actually pretty heavy. So I decided to go much more conventional design, simpler mission, and hopefully that should be it. By the way, guys, you should know that this is episode 47, which is re-recorded because I have gotten some comments from some of you guys that I was coughing a lot, and I'm very sorry about that. I cannot change the previous episodes, but I can change the ones that I haven't published, and this is actually an effort to do so. So these are hopefully now from 47 onwards. They should be re-recorded, and hopefully my coughing should be down to a minimum. And I'm once again very sorry that you have to go and endure this. I'm still not 100% okay, so I'll try to keep, if I cough, to cough to the minimum. Once again, sorry guys. You are very important to me, obviously, and that's why I went and wanted to re-record everything. Cool. Okay, back to business. As you can see, I'm trying out the new lander design. Well, not new, but it's pretty much same old, except that I'm putting in the kibble and everything, and now I'm balancing the RCS thrust with RCS build aid, because this is very important because of the docking. We, after all, want the docking to go smooth, and we don't want the translation to introduce unnecessary rotation to the craft. So yeah, that's kind of the deal why I'm using RCS build aid and balancing out, making sure that there is no rotation associated with any translation. So, okay, now that that's covered for, we need to put some lights, because if we will be docking in the dark, we want to be able to see where we're going. Then after that, we will definitely be needing some landing legs. And this particular design is deliberate, that I put the reaction wheels, engine and everything else on the bottom, because if we will have a hard landing and some things get destroyed at the bottom, hopefully the experiment and the probe core, or not the probe core, but the lander can and everything else should survive. So a tall lander, but still should be quite okay, I hope. So once again, balancing out the RCS, making sure that that one is as it should be. And I'm thinking that I need more solar panels, and I need more batteries, and I need more life support containers. So I'm gonna put 4 here. That should be more than enough to last us while the experiment is being run, because those experiments that we are running do take time, which is important to note. So you cannot actually send just an empty lander can and hope for the best. So although that station does have some of supplies of its own, so it wouldn't be technically like the worst thing in the world to be doing. Okay, putting some batteries, and this lander is more or less ready. Just a few more batteries actually, because since we're playing with Dengit, it can fail more often than not. So, and some solar panels additional for passive generation. I like to use a lot of redundancy in my designs, especially when I have a manned or Kerbal mission. So yeah, let's call it Station Science Tug Mark 1, and now let's try and find appropriate fairing. Initially, I was trying to put the 1.25 expanded fairing base, but I have a feeling this will be like too tight and it wouldn't be able to fit without clipping, which is something definitely not. So let's put the 2.5 fairing instead. The fairings, by the way, are courtesy of KW Rocketry, a mod that I very much like playing. Since this is 090, we didn't have fairings back then, and even with the stock fairings in the 104, I actually don't like it being like confetti style, so these are more like, you know, form factor, old school. You put it in and then it works, hopefully. Okay, then we are putting now the probe core, because I still want this to be a reusable stage, so I want to return and deorbit this stage hopefully intact. So putting the battery, putting now the fuel tank, the biggest one that I could find, slapping on a mainsail on it, and it nets us a total of 3.6k of delta V for the ascent stage, which is not enough, or I mean it is enough to get us to the orbit, but not also to perform a rendezvous with the station. And this is 3.8, nah, still too small. Let's see, 4047. Well, that's more like it, and probably should be enough, but yeah, let's try and stick with that for now. So SAS, then we want to put some more fins. Okay, and what else? Hold on, let me think. Yeah, nice long sleek rocket. No, actually I decided to take one step bigger tank, just to be on the safe side. It's now 4,200 delta V, and that should be enough, and our thrust weight is 1.85, which is still more than decent. Okay, with that being said, I want to reuse this stage to return it back to Kerbin, so I want to be putting remote tech antennas to be able to control it, and I want to be putting some battery, battery you already have, so sorry, solar panels, and I want to be putting obviously some chutes so that it can land safely. Now let's fix our staging. I think that's more or less correct. Okay, let's just put more of these guys, and then let's put more of the solar panels, and I'm gonna leave it at that. It's not a beauty contest, so, well, whatever. Okay, and fix the fairings to make sure that they are correctly put. 181, and we added this bad boy to the build list. Okay, so just a word of warning, Mark 1B, and I figured I might as well be putting the launch clamps, because it's a tall rocket, I really don't want it to flip. So just let's put them in the correct stage, and yeah, let's put that one to the build list, the other one I'll just probably scrap. Okay, that being said, yeah, let's scrap that one. Cool, so this one will be being built. Okay. Let us warp until it's built. And actually our Duna lander with lifter will be performing a sphere of influence change. Once again, let me just quickly check. I am gonna do some research while I'm at it. So while performing this, I have 800 of science. So I'm thinking which experiment should I choose, and I have actually decided to go, I think I will go with the advanced science multiple miniaturization, because then I can put the science materials bay and mystery goo on rovers, which is something that I'm planning in the long term. So let us warp to complete. Okay, almost done. Perfect. So that being said, let's grab this one and let's roll out this one. By the way, I'm also thinking of making some new hires. I'm gonna hire, I think... No, we're not gonna hire anybody. We have enough Kerbals. Okay, let's launch. And I want to be putting... maybe hands-on. After all, we want the hands-on approach, right? Sorry, bad joke. Anyway, let's see where our station is, set it as a target, and it's pretty much in the ideal position to launch. So, without the further ado, let's have a blast off. Okay, this is quite a simple ship, so it flies pretty beautifully up. Yeah, let's... going for the gravity turn. As you have probably known by now, I pretty much suck at it, so yeah, it's something I have to live with. Just easing the rocket ever so slowly to pick up the orbital velocity, and our apoapsis is climbing, and I'm hoping to reach 100 roughly. Okay, there we go. And now let us see if we can... Let us see to put a maneuver node that would hopefully secure us. Oh, maybe also a rendezvous. Let's see. Okay, maybe not a rendezvous, but let's see what we can do. Ah, almost. Come on, come on. Yeah, got it. Perfect. Okay, pop the fairing and uncover our beautiful lander that we have. Then we have to extend the solar panels. And we're activating the communitron on the return stage, so once we separate, it will still remain on, hopefully. And burning for the circularization. Perfect. And also burning a little bit more for the rendezvous. Awesome. Yeah, okay, great. Looks like we have a close approach, which will be like 6 kilometers, which is pretty close, and I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, so let's pull up a maneuver node, and by the way guys, I'm well aware that you have the closest approach alarm, but for some reason that usually goofs up for me, so I'm gonna refrain from doing that, and actually prefer to just going with a regular maneuver node. That has proven for me time after time to work correctly. Okay. Now we are in target mode, making sure that we can actually burn a little bit towards the target, or actually slow down. Let's see how we have 37 meters per second. So now I'm trying to, while I'm slowing down, also to push the yellow marker on the pink marker. But yeah, let's just come a little bit closer, see where it ends up with. 20 meters per second and much further though. Let's try and orient ourselves to find where it's at. Come on, lab, show up wherever you are. Okay, I think we're pulling away from the station. I think I might have goofed it up. Maybe. Okay, never mind. Let's just align the maneuver node and let's do this from the get-go, shall we? Okay, let's just see. That's when you get a nice approach and you're like me and you just in the end goof it up. So let's see. So then you have to refill with the maneuver node once again. And again, what can you do? Then I'm looking at it and I'm not that far from the station. Maybe I should burn directly. Yeah. So, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And there we go. Close approach. What do you know? I mean, after all, we are fairly close and we are burning towards it, so, I mean, why the hell not? Might as well. I'm flipping the rocket backwards just to make sure that I can push one node on top of the other to make sure that we are closing up, and yeah, our separation shows that we will be coming pretty close to each other, so that's fine. Target 56 meters per second, which is fairly decent, so... Okay, now we have both markers on top of each other, our separation is pretty close. So it's a little bit fiddling back and forth, but in the end should ensure us a very nice and close rendezvous. 6 kilometers out. Once again, aligning these two. Closing at 34 meters per second. It doesn't sound quick, but it's actually very quick compared to each other, and if I time accelerate a little bit, you will be able to see how much it really is. Okay, 32, now we come to the physics warp, like hold as it loads. We are closing up on it, so I think I'll just shed a little bit of that target delta V. I want to come like, oh, whoa. Okay, now we have fortunately high enough thrust to weight, so I don't have to worry about us missing the orbital lab, but yeah, a little bit. Whoops, now we're pulling away from it, so I have to reverse with RCS. Hopefully we have more than enough RCS to perform the docking, so yeah, I mean, I have ditched the ascent stage and now taking the lander because I think that will be much easier to do. And at first I was thinking to going for the top port, but then again, this is actually a creature comforts experiment, so we want to be as close to the zoology bay as possible. So I'm thinking rather than going on top one, I'll probably go on the docking port that is next to zoology bay. And we have a dang it once again. So motor has failed. Well, fortunately enough, our shielding docking port has already extended, so we don't need to care. Let's just dock with it as is and then we'll fix it later. Retracting the solar panels. Just making sure that I'm properly aligned for docking. And now it's just a matter of closing the distance and then we should be docked, hopefully. Okay, thrusting ever so slowly. 95 meters. 80 meters. And now I have decided to choose the docking port that is next to the zoology bay, because I was worried that I might be hitting the ring of the solar panels, but now I feel pretty confident because I'm aligned well on target, so I can maneuver much more cautiously than before. So coming up on the station, nicely aligned. Looks like a textbook docking if you ask me. And we're docking on the sunny side, which is even nicer. And docked. Perfect. So let us make sure that we start the experiment. So, and for some reason I cannot click on that pod. Well, let's see. Oh, zoology bay is understaffed, so actually I don't have enough crew to do that. Well, Hanson, I think that you will be getting your first hands-on in terms of how to do the science. So I first tried to do the transfer this way, but for some reason it didn't want to really work for me. And this is the stock transfer. I don't know why. So rather than using stock transfer, let's do the fun part. EVA out, and Hanson, please get into the zoology bay, will ya? Okay, come on. That's it. And while you're at it, pet the animals, because we want to see how comfortable the creatures are in the or low carbon orbit. Cool. That being said, we should leave this for now. Screeny. And by the way, we have a return stage to return, and we have a nice view over the station orbital lab in the background. So yeah, let's point our return booster, which has just 123 meters per second left, which should be more than enough to deorbit it in a nice and controlled fashion. So yeah, pointing retrograde and just making sure that we burn. Okay, let's put a maneuver node. Let's see how much we will need. 100 and... oh no, even less. Some 70 meters per second. Perfect, so then when we press the gas, we should be deorbiting. That's nice. Okay, now I'm just trying to put a maneuver node so that I actually land somewhere in the sun. It would be much more fun than landing in the middle of the dark, in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I'm just making sure that I'm properly aligned, and then we should hopefully be okay. Coming up on maneuver node. We don't really need to be, surgically precise. And right now I remember that I won't be able to pop the chutes on the way down because we will be in atmosphere. So rather than me crying later, I'm arming the chutes and making sure that everything is ready for the descent, because I have to press the deorbit. Great. Our periapsis is a negative, which means we're definitely going down, and I have decided to kill the communitron to have it not ripped by the atmosphere, which means at this point we have Sir Isaac Newton flying the ship, and we're coming down, hitting the atmospheric layer, and our rocket is pointing itself retrograde. And wow, we are actually coming up on the continent where the KSC is. That wasn't planned, but it's a cool feature nonetheless. And during the descent, our rocket decided to do a disco dance. So yeah. Okay, and yeah, note to myself, maybe not to have our SAS on the way back next time. Maybe it's trying some new and interesting alternative propulsion, who knows. Okay, coming down, and I'm waiting for my parachutes to deploy, which should happen any second. Okay. Just halting our rocket not far from the landing itself, and perfect. Oh well, we lost the mainsail. What can you do? Okay guys, so recover that, and that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you liked the episode. Press like if you like the episode, and for more KSP content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It will be coming soon. Thank you again for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.